Hey guys, so if you have survived my first logo animation tutorial, congrats because now we are moving on. So last month I posted a logo animation tutorial on my channel, and in that video I told you how you can plan your logo animations, like how you can come up with ideas, like what colors to use, like there's a lot of things in that. And everything alongside a small stroke animation tutorial, like we went through shape layers, trim paths, and how stroke reveals. We also did a writing animation. So just the basics, so you know what's going on in this video. So if you haven't watched that one yet, watch that first because this is literally continuing from there. But this time, we are taking it a step further. So first, we are gonna go deeper into the stroke animation part. We will learn how to make stroke more advanced, like 3D stroke reviews and stuff like that. Then after that, we're gonna actually create a full logo animation from scratch. And once the animation is built, that's when we will start stylizing it more. Like adding things like gradient, glitch effects, colorama, trails, and all those details that actually makes the logo feel finished. And just like in the previous video, I want to teach in a way where you're not just copying one effect, but understanding how things actually work. So if you're trying to make something similar later on, you still know what you're doing. So we're just picking up where we left off last time and just going more in depth this time. So the first thing you want to do is add a solid layer and apply the 3D stroke effect, which if you don't see it, it's just because this is a plugin. Now, what you do is draw your own logo or any shape you want using mask. You can use the pen tool or the mask tool. For now, let's just add a circle. And in the effect setting, you can change the thickness and thickness over pass like this. So this next step is actually similar to the previous video, but instead of using a shape layer, it's inside the effects panel. So you can animate the start and end point just like before. Keyframe them from 0 to 100 on both with a small offset on the start. Now, in the color panel, if you set the color over path, you can add more points to your color ramp and either create your own gradients or use the randomizer to generate different colors. Under the transform settings, you can see how we have the option to rotate this in 3D, which we did not have before with the shape layers. Otherwise, they would remain flat strokes. So you can adjust that. You will also see there's a repeater option, which we are going to use today. You can change how the copies transform, like scale, rotation, and this is going to be really useful for the effects we are doing today. You can also add more mask path if you want, and the effects will work on those too. So to create that reveal effect, the shape you need is a spiral. You can make the one using a script or create it in Illustrator and import into After Effects. After that, you follow the same step and there's no right way to do this. You can experiment it by adding repeaters, changing values, adding different mask path if you want, and changing the values however you like. Now that we understand how to push the stroke further than we did last time, let's actually build a logo animation from scratch. So for today, we have this logo of tomato sauce. So start by masking out individual parts of the logo, like the text itself. And I'm just gonna use the pen tool here to do that. So make sure you're naming your layers, otherwise it can get messy later. No, I should not laugh. I don't name my layers. Now for the stroke, let's use the 3D stroke effects again. Add a solid layer and trace out the logo itself. Now start your mask point at the final position, then extend it, just to make sure it's curved before we are using this to create the flowing effect. Now relabel the original logo layer and fix any unrounded part in the stroke, so it lines up properly. Change the color, I'm doing red, and using the thickness over path, trying to match the final thickness that we have in the original logo. Now make a keyframe for thickness over path after a few frames. Then go a little before the keyframe and increase the value so that it looks like the sauce is flowing in. And using the start and end values, you can animate the reveal just like we learned in the last video. You can also add roughen edges to create that organic sauce texture. Just make sure to keyframe the borders so it goes back to 0 by the time the original logo is fully revealed. Now let's animate the text. So start by pre-comping every letter we masked out, so mask point don't interfere with the animation later on. Using the anchor point tool, move the anchor to the center of each layer. Now animate the scale from 0 to 100 using a graph like this, so it bounces in. So we want this text to appear like the stroke is flowing in, so just time the scale animation with the sauce reveal, then copy paste the same animation to the other layers. So now for the second part of the logo, let's do something different. Instead of stroke reveal, we were gonna do a dripping reveal. Since the layer have already mask point, you can keyframe this mask path so it reveals from the top like liquid dripping down. Now, pre-comp this layer and duplicate it, and on the bottom layer, add fill and change the color to red or something, then offset it a few frames back. You can also add effects like turbulence, roughen edges to make border uneven. And it's completely up to you how organic you want it to feel. Now, pre-comp everything together and add a subtle scaling so the full will feel more dynamic. There are like a lot of things you can add here, like this is just one approach. Now, we move to the next section in the video where I want to show you how I created these color trails and we'll make something similar. Now, so to do this, just create any shape you want or your own logo or just like the previous logo that we had and make sure the color is white. Then go on the layer style and add inner shadows and copy my setting just to make sure both black and white tones exist in the layer. Now, pre-comp it and add colorama effect. It will look weird at first, but that's normal. Go to output cycle and adjust the color to get a pastel gradient look. Now, decrease the cycle repetition and keyframe the phase shift under the input cycle and to create that flowing color trail animation. Using the same method and shape layers, you can create something like a flower and apply the same fill to the petals. This is not limited to logo animation. You can use this in motion design or even edits too. And like if you want to make that flower thing, you can add repeaters on the shape layer and use the puppet pin tool to bend the petals if you want. And it's all up to you how far you want to push it. Now before I end this video, I wanted to quickly show you how I make my glitches. And we will go more into this in the next video of this series. So to do this, add like a solid layer and trim it so it only appears about a second. Using the shape tool, mask out like rectangles like this. Then you can also add effects like white dots, create an LED screen look. You can experiment it with other effects too. This is just one example. So if you have watched up to this point, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and follow my socials to stay updated. I hope this video comes in handy and tag me if you try any of these. I would love to see what you make.